Hi there folks, welcome back to RRTV. We're coming back to you live from Mount Panorama for the next hour, so this is our midday update, and boy have we got an update to tell you about. But before we get into that, let's welcome back my co-host Adrian Jarvis. How are you going, Adrian?
Yeah, good, Bernie. Yeah, welcome back, viewers. Yeah, it should be interesting getting the viewers back through what's been going on.
Yeah, and it's been quite an interesting time out there for quite a lot of our drivers. Since we left you at 12 o'clock, we have had 5 safety cars in the last 3 hours. So we're looking at a total of about 11 safety cars at this point in time, which is just about going to set a new record for us here at Mount Panorama today.
Yeah, it's quite a high number of yellow flags for Bathurst. We knew there'd be some issues, but it's definitely a high amount, and we've only just had 2 recently within a few laps of each other, so only about 3 or 4 laps between the last 2 safety cars, and you can see now the guys are running in the heavy traffic because of we've only just come back from a safety car. I think we're about the 2nd lap into it.
Yeah, that's right, and when I came on half an hour ago to set up, we went from one safety car pretty much straight into another one a couple of laps down, and that's no doubt for the traffic, and also the drivers out there are pretty aggressive and taking quite a few chances, even though we are just about coming up to halfway distance. So I guess once they get into a bit of a rhythm, we might see some long stints.
Yes, and we're just, it's just hard to see these guys making it to the end. We've still got quite a few cars out on track, but the way they keep going, Bernie, we're going to get to see a few retirements. I don't see them lasting another 6 hours.
No, I don't think I can see them all lasting another 6 hours either. Just having a look at why those safety cars are out, folks. The 228 brought out their first safety car after we went off air because they had an incident at the cutting. So that was Evolution Racing Australia in the A class, or the B class, sorry, the DP, which we can see on the screen at the moment, had an issue there. And then the safety car was deployed again when the 331 Tryhards Racing GT3 broke down out on track, and they were unable to get that car back to the pits, and so another safety car was deployed at that point. A number of penalties were also issued, which we'll take you through as I go through my long list of incidents to report to you folks out there. The 399 Delta Sim Sport, they had contact with the 308, and they were issued a drive-through penalty for avoidable contact in the race. The 366 Blackadder Motorsport, which is the BMW, they were issued, I just lost it here. They were issued a drive-through penalty for contact with the 331. The Tryhards HPD1 was also issued with a drive-through for contact with 331, and I think the 331, correct me if I'm wrong here, Adrian, is one of the Tryhards entries.
Yeah, I think so, Ben.
And it's currently not out there on the track at the moment, so it looks like that car may have retired. And then after that, we had a warning issued to the driver of the 112 ABR Simulated. They had netcode issues. So for the viewers out there not sure what a netcode is, it's basically when you see the cars coming in or flickering on and off and jumping around the track. That's low ping, which causes netcode incidents or cars colliding. So they were issued a warning at that point in time. Then we had the 205 Krusty Demon Racing. They had contact with the 222 car, and it was deemed a racing incident. as we go down, the next safety car was deployed for the 368 Blackadder Motorsport BMW. They were stranded on the track and unable to return to the pits. Then the 367 Blackadder Motorsport, they had contact with the 314, no safety car was called, and it was dubbed or deemed a racing incident. The 367 Blackadder Motorsport entry again, I'm just trying to get it up on the screen. The 367 again unable to return to the pit, so that car broke down. The sister car broke down this time, and another safety car was deployed to get that car. The Tryhards GT3 Rough, they had contact with the 218, so that's the 334 onto the 218, and they were issued a drive-through penalty. And then All-Star Motorsports, the 217 DP, they also broke down on the track and brought out another safety car. So we've had quite a few breakdowns in this these 5 safety car issues. Then the 308 Man Cave Motorsports, they had contact with the 399 and they had a drive-through penalty, and that pretty much brings you up to date. And it looks like the 205, this is live now, has had contact with the 399 as well, and we are waiting to hear from Race Control on what that penalty is going to be. And that is Krusty Demon Racing, and Jacob Brown is driving that car at the moment. They're 12th outright in their class. So Adrian, that's a lot of talking from me. There was a lot of incidents to go through though.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie. Plenty of incidents, and you know, the guys are really pushing the cars. I mean, they're not. I know they're racing, and that's what we want to see. But if they're pushing their cars to the extreme and trying to take a few risks, no one really gains. It sort of, you know, it doesn't bode well after we've talked them up. They were driving nice and clean, but they're getting very aggressive and trying to overtake. It's really not good.
No, it's not, and it makes for a very stop and start type of race. And while you were talking there, we saw the 205 go into the wall at the dipper, and they've got some damage on the side of that car now, so that car may be coming in to the pits very shortly.
And we can see now, Bernie, I think there's only 4 cars really on the lead lap, which is obviously HPDs, but geez, it's a really small number after 6 hours, I suppose. Only 4 of them. You would hope to have a few more up there. Well, I would have.
Yeah, and only the top 10 are within 1 lap of the leader at this stage. So out of a 45 car field, having only 10% on the lead lap with 6 hours to go in this race, or just under 6 hours, so we're halfway. It doesn't bode well. It does for the top 4, because all they've got to do now is stay out of trouble, and they're in sight for a good podium there in Class A. But it doesn't bode well for the rest of the field. To give you an idea, folks, they are now up to lap 155 of this race. So in 6 hours they've completed 155 laps, and that's slower than a real life V8 supercar race, where I think they cover, what do they cover in one of those, about 168 laps?
Yeah, I think you're right. So
before we get into some interviews, let's take you through our track guide. When this race started this morning at 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. in the morning, the track temperature was 38 degrees Celsius with a wind speed of 18. So the wind speed has picked up by 1 kilometre per hour, and the track temp has dropped by 3 degrees. So it's currently 35 degrees on track with an air temp of 20 degrees, and that may be possibly due to the track carrying a bit more rubber. It might be able to insulate itself from the sun, or it's just getting cooler, whichever.
Yeah, actually, the way wind's picking up there, Benny, so maybe the wind's helping to cool down the track.
Yeah, it could be cooling down the track. So just to update you on the 205, that car has been issued a drive-through penalty for contact on the 222 car. Okay, so that's the 205, and I'm just trying to see the 222. That is the SDC Motorsport Enduro, and Marty Carroll's currently driving that car. And it's great to see him back out there on the track today. So let's have a look now at your top 5 in Class A and B and C. And you can see, well, actually I'm thinking maybe we should go through the whole grid so the viewers are completely up to date where we're at and who's retired from this race. Okay, so the race is currently being led by Team TTL. That's the 188 car, and that's got Dylan Sharman driving in that car at the moment. They've got a gap of around about 7 to 8 seconds at this stage. In second spot is the 126 with Benjamin Smith driving that car. Yeah, 9.2 seconds they're down at the moment. In third is the 112 ABR Team Simulated, the number 1 team. And we saw that car up in the top 2 up until it had its pit stop, so it's definitely showing pace all day. The last car on the lead lap at the moment is the 137 Carnet TDR entry, and that's got Aaron Osborne behind the wheel at the moment. They're 28 seconds down. Then in 5th is the 115 Nutters Motorsport Orange. 6th, the 177 Trans-Tasman Racing. 7th, 100 Dayco Motorsport, and the 100 has Kurt Stenberg driving that car at the moment. That car also had pace, but it's now 1 lap down since we left here at 3 hours ago. The first in Class B, that's being led by the number 230 Synergy Sim Racing number 3 team with Reece Goldfinch driving that car. And then second in Class B is 226 Evolution Racing Australia, followed by the 228 Evolution Racing Australia. So it's looking good for ERA in Class A and B at the moment. Very strong showing. Then 11th is the Tryhards Racing HPD number 2, the 132. 12th the 222 SDC Motorsport Enduro, they're 2 laps down. Then we have the 205 Krusty Demon Racing 3 laps down in 13th. The 119 Redback Racing HPD, we saw that involved in an incident on Conrod Straight earlier today, and they're running 3 laps down. Then the 200 Synergy Sim Racing is in 15th. 16th the 227 Carnet TDR. Then in 17th is 266 Blackadder Motorsport, 3 laps down as well. In 18th is the 169 ABR Simulator 2, followed by the 204 JFF Racing GT Amiga in 19th and 4 laps down. So that car was also fairly strong earlier in the day. In 20th, the 288 OSR DP and 4 laps down. 21st, the 229 LM and Touring International, followed by the 231 Tryhards Racing. In 23rd, Oceanic Sim Racing, and they are currently leading Class C, and that has Simon Black behind the wheel of that car, and they're 6 laps down. 24th, Tryhards Racing HPD 1, the 131, then the 111 G&T Racing, 6 laps down. We saw that in a lot of strife earlier today when it was involved in an incident. 218 All-Star Motorsport sits in 26th, 27th, the 333 Mad Cow Racing Frida. So they are now back in second in class, and they're on the same lap as the race leader for Class C. Also on the same lap in Class C is ANZ Motorsport 397. That car's also on the lead lap. I'm just trying to see who's actually driving that car at the moment. 397, 28th and 3rd in class. 29th, the 130 Synergy Sim Racing HPD. 4th in Class C is the 314 Selby, and they've dropped down 1 lap. from the leaders at this stage of the race. 31st is the 367 Blackadder Motorsport, then 32nd the 399 Delta Sim Sport entry, followed in 33rd by the 398 ANZ Motorsport, 9 laps down at the moment, which would make them 3 laps down from Class C leader. 34th the 300 Pagny and IRFF Racing, 35th 366 Blackadder Motorsport, 36th 116 Nutters Motorsport Green and 10 laps down, 37th the 332 Tryhards Racing 2. Redback Racing HPD number 118, that was the strongest entry from that team, and they're quite competitive, but they find themselves 12 laps down at the moment, and that car has been issued with 2 drive-through penalties throughout the day for avoidable contact. 39th the 166 VPR, followed by the 308 Man Cave Motorsports, 19 laps down. 41st is a 217 All-Star Motorsports, followed by the 363 Swift Racing, then the 368 Blackadder Motorsport. They are 23 laps down, followed by Tryhards Racing 1, the 331, then the 334, Tryhards Racing 3. And that's pretty much our cars. Now, I can confirm for the viewers out there, Adrian, that we have had 2 retirements so far in this race, and they are the 271 Pagny and IRFF Racing Class B entry has retired, and so has the 232 Tryhards Racing DP2. So that should bring all the viewers up to date of the race so far.
And it looks like the leader is in the now.
Yeah, we just jumped on board with Dylan Sharman as he brings his car into the pits to take service, so that was good spotting there. I'm not sure, I guess 5:46 might be a bit off schedule, but you know, these are going to change, aren't they, as this race progresses and they short fuel or whatever else they do. The 367 Blackadder Motorsport has a post-race investigation on it on lap 137. It doesn't say for what, it just says there was a protest lodged against that vehicle. So the lead has now...
Got a couple of guys.
As I was saying, the lead is now being taken over by the 126 Evolution Racing Australia, Benjamin Smith in that car, and Michael Hinman is in second position. So yeah, you're right, we do have a few guys. So we'll bring up James Stevenson, Adrian, if you want to have a chat with him.
Yeah, that's... Hey James, welcome to the booth. The old mad cow, how's it going at the moment? Do you got...
We're trucking along not too bad at the moment. I mean, I stuffed it up in the first hour by putting it in the wall, which put us pretty much a lap down, and we've been fighting the safety cars trying to get the lap back, but it's just all been falling the wrong way from there.
Yeah, it's been a tough old race. It seems like it's like a tough race all around. There's a lot of guys trying to push through, and it looks like it's trying to be like a sprint round, because we've had a lot of safety cars in this race. So
yeah, I think the longest green run we've had is 45 minutes, which doesn't help us. I mean, we're 3 seconds a lap faster than the leaders in our class, but there's just not long enough green flag time to catch them.
yeah, it's just it's a shame that you're not getting a good run. You know, even at Turner we had a lot of green flag runs in that race and not very many yellow flags, which was a bonus for us. We had a lot of racing going on. It was very cool to see the strategies, but at the moment it's just not panning out the way where guys can get a good nice rhythm.
No, hopefully this green flag goes for a bit longer though, because we're having a nice little battle there with Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, it's got you on track at the moment. It's good to see little Frieda, and we got the lowdown on Frieda at the moment, which is really cool. It's good to see that little backstories with these cars, and obviously interesting for the viewers to see and understand what the story is, because obviously Frieda was the cow off the Cabri ad, and and the collar scheme is the cavalry collar, so it's good to have that from last.
Yeah, it's good that you guys remember our backstory from the last race. But yeah, we're just out there having a bit of fun at the moment, pushing as hard as we can and hoping for a long green flag run.
Yeah, the car's looking a little bit tired. Does that mean that you've still got one fast repair up your sleeve? Because unfortunately you have been in an incident or two, and most of that's not yours. I mean, obviously you did say that you've had an incident on your own, but a few of them haven't been on your own.
Yeah, we've used up the one of our fast repairs. We've still got one to go. We just thought we'd better save it for a better occasion. I mean, our pace is probably the quickest on the track at the moment, even though we're about half a second a lap down of where we could be. But I think just about everybody's in the same sort of boat at the moment, saving their fast repairs for the end.
Yeah, well, we thought the only two fast repairs, the guys might have been a little bit easier on the car and on the track and trying to manage the cars till the end of the race, but hasn't been away at them.
Yeah, I think it's just the desperation to get past, because the HPDs and the DPs, there's not really anywhere for them to pass over the top of the mountain, and they lose quite a bit of time sitting in behind us there, so a lot of desperation that you wouldn't get at most other tracks.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We were covering off there a few of the cars, like you'll get one driver, he'll be patient and sit behind the GT3s, and then the next minute you see the guy that was racing for position be closed right in on him, and then there'll be a big battle for those guys to try and stay in front. So I would assume that's the big problem with the guys at the moment, just pushing the cars a little bit too hard across.
Yeah, also the EPs, I don't know what it is, but a lot of them, they'll pass us and then they're just so much slower than us over the top, and they hold us up actually, and it gets a bit dangerous sometimes as well.
Is it with the DPs there? Like we did hear, I think it was Josh earlier, some of the guys are actually using a little bit less aero across the top, and they're relying on the top end speed. So you think with the cars being a little bit loose compared to the GT3s with traction control, and you've gone for a more settled approach probably across the top than more outright?
Oh no, we're completely trimmed out. I mean, we've got no straight line speed on the BMW as it is. If we didn't have the wing at pretty much minimum, we'd just get destroyed by the roughs down the straight.
Yeah, well, we know the BMWs unfortunately don't have the straight line speed as the roughs, but as we see there, poor old HPD was trying to get around you guys, but had to back off, which was good. I think that to slow down there and let you guys get through, because obviously once you guys get your stuff sorted, you'd be able to get through.
Yeah, he went in the pits anyway.
Well, there you go. But what's the plan for you guys for the rest of the? We've got less than 6 hours. You're planning on getting back in?
No, I've done my thing. We've actually got 4 drivers for this race, so we've still got one driver to jump in and have his first hours, and Leighton and Scott still have a few hours to do towards the end of the race.
So you're just relaxing and chilling out, waiting to come up and talk to us.
That's
find
it.
People up.
Do a little bit of strategy, talk to you fellas, and then prepare for iRace for Fun, King of the Ring a bit later.
Alright, cool. So you're off doing that later on?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll pass you over to Bernie. I'm sure Bernie's got a few more questions. But look, mate, you're doing a good job there. Hopefully you can get that yellow flag situation sorted in probably about 2 hours. We won't want a safety car at the moment. Get that speed up there. You might be able to chase them down with green flags instead of the yellow.
Yeah, we've pulled 40 seconds on the leader already, and we've only had, about 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, you're looking good out there, James, in the 333. It's great to see Frida back at the mountain, having another run in the AEC today. I was just having a look at that gap. It's increased a bit over Shane van Gisbergen as well, because he got held up going across the top of the mountain. So you've got 2.7 seconds on the 397, and so it's looking good so far, but the car's looking a bit second-hand at the moment. How's it tracking?
The handling's 100% at the moment. It's just a little bit down on straight line speed, but I mean, he's driving the wheels off it, doing high 203s, low 204s, which is still as quick, if not quicker, than anybody else on the track at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. So even with that rear wing damage, he's doing a fantastic job out there, keeping pace, and not only keeping pace, but exceeding the pace, as you said, of the leaders in your class, which is fantastic. So King of the Ring, that's on again tonight. And for the viewers that aren't aware of what that is, that's run by IRFF, and it's a weekly series just for this season, where the guys have to get in a different car and you get so many laps or whatever it is to get the fastest time. A bit like how would you put it? Like one of those Targa Tasmania type events. But how you been finding it, and what car are you in tonight?
Oh, it's been a load of fun driving all the different cars at the Nürburgring. Tonight we're actually in the B-Class NASCAR.
The V-Class NASCAR. Promises you'll do some race footage for that and send it over to RRTV. I'd love to see drive a lap of the NASCAR around Nordschleife.
Yeah, I will do. Last week was the Lotus 49, so believe it or not, it's actually going to be pretty easy in comparison.
Yeah, well, the NASCAR's probably got more downforce than the Lotus 49, I guess. That says a lot.
Yeah, the Lotus 49, I mean, you were driving along what is flat out in every other car you've ever thought about, and it just jumps off the track and you've got to get out of the throttle or you're in the fence.
Well, that's going to be interesting. I might have to, if we're not broadcasting, tune in to have a quick look at that. But anyway, James, thanks for popping in, and best of luck with getting Frida home this afternoon. Looking good so far, but we've still got 5.5 hours to go. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I'd like to give a shout out to all the mad cows, especially Craig Hunter, who sits away in the background there and makes sure that we don't run out of fuel and do silly things like that.
Yeah, fantastic. And I won't say my old man joke. I said it earlier today and I didn't get any rounds of applause, so we'll leave it at that. But thanks for popping in, James, and best of luck for the rest of the race.
Yeah, thanks guys, catch you next time.
Was James Stevens from Mad Cow Racing, and we just saw there the Frida entry. It's caught up behind another DP. That's a 227 DP Carnet DP at this stage, and that's Zachary Hanlon in that car. Exciting young driver, this guy, isn't he, Adrian?
Yeah, very exciting. Young fellow there driving that car. I would say that he may have just come out of the pits, Bernie, because I believe Darren Connors was in that car earlier, so I think that's a driver change there. They probably had a pit stop and on cold tyres, as you saw, going up there and getting it all sorts of sideways up through the mountain.
Yeah, I thought he was about to collect the wall there. I've just had from Race Control as well, folks, Team TTL, the 188. We've got it on screen at the moment. They've been issued a first warning for unsafe driving, and that's Dylan Sharman behind the wheel of that car, so that's rather interesting. And we might bring Joe Burkett up. Joe's one of the drivers for that team, and I'm not sure if he's even aware of the first warning, but we might bring him up and have a chat anyway. Before we do that though, I think we'll bring Matt Zimmerman up for the 229. He's actually been waiting there patiently for the last half hour, and that was even before we went on air. He was waiting, so we'll bring up Matt and have a chat with him first. Hi Matt, welcome to RRTV, and how's the race going for the 229 at the moment?
Yeah, thanks Bernie, thanks Adrian. Yeah, pretty good at the moment. I'm pretty happy with how it's gone so far. yeah, we managed to keep out of trouble for the most part. Yeah, we've got a few little scrapes there, here and there, but yeah, running, having a bit of a battle with the tryhards number 231 and also All-Star Motorsports 218 there, and yeah, really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, excellent. We see you're 6 laps down from the Class A leader. I'm just trying to see where you're placed in class at the moment. It looks like, just bear with me, I've got to count backwards here. About 12th in class at the moment, I'm counting. Is that where you think you're sitting?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and 5 laps down as we just see one of the TD Racing HPDs pass without incident. So has the race been fairly uneventful for you guys, or have you had a few incidents that's put you the 5 laps down?
We've had a few little minor spins here and there, but haven't had to use a fast repair yet. And yeah, a few little scrapes with the wall, just causing the damage you can see on there, but nothing that's really made us have to pit out of sequence or anything like that, and it hasn't really taken any speed off the car. So yeah, pretty happy with that, considering. I mean, our pace as usual isn't front running, and certainly in qualifying we really didn't focus on that at all. We were happy to sort of start at the back of the pack, and so far I think we're ahead of about three cars in our class, which, you know, which by our standard isn't too bad. But if we can sort of pick a few more off towards the end, yeah, that'll be good. We've just had Sam Doherty in the car, who's probably the fastest guy on our team, and he's done a few good laps there, and now we've got Greg back in the car, and then I'll jump in next.
Fantastic. And we just had another warning issued to the 188 team, folks. Second and final warning for unsafe driving. Warning's been issued to that driver, breaching rules and regulations. So we may see if we can get some more information from race control on exactly what that is that they're breaching. But getting back to the interview on 229, how the tyres been faring in the this heat? Because it was 38 when you started. It's now currently 35. Yeah,
so it looks like the temperatures dropped there a bit. Certainly in Australia, and because there's been a lot of yellow flag time as well, we've found that, yeah, we haven't really been pushing the tyres too hard by the time we run out of fuel. So yeah, not really an issue at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I know you've been waiting down there a lot longer than this interview's taking, but I might pass you over to Adrian and just see if he's got any questions for you.
Yeah, thanks, Benny. Went to press that wrong button again, I tell you. But anyway, Matt, thanks for coming up here. It's always good to have a chat with you. We'll see you run another series and you can come up and have a chat with us. But seeing you're a little bit slower, does that mean that you got the car dialed in for comfortability? So obviously up the top of the mountain you're going for comfort, where it's not going to, you know, do anything silly and plant you in.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely very much on the forgiving side, the setup of the car. Having said that, I think Sam in low fuel was still able to put it in the 159s. But yeah, no, it's definitely on the forgiving side. You just got to get through this race, and yeah, we probably could get a bit more pace out of it if we had a more risky setup, if you like. But it is very well planted at the rear, and yeah, it would, in any other track, or yeah, that's more forgiving than this one. Yeah, it would be very much understeering and slow. Even more so. So, but yeah, you sort of get away with it, and if you can survive, it'll do all right.
Yeah, I suppose that's at the moment with this race. It seems like everyone's low at the moment and trying to win the race by margins, like a lot of margins. But really with a track like this, you've got to actually pace yourself properly and make sure that you can get to the end, as we've got another safety car.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know in real motorsport, and you see it here too, that people say these endurance races, it's just it's a 12-hour sprint race with the different drivers who hop in the car and that. But I think this track, I think most tracks you could apply that sort of theory, just push really hard the whole time. But I think this track is, and probably the only other one that springs to mind is Nordschleife. You really got to just be careful, and you can be in a groove, and then the next minute something catches you out or someone spins, and then you're in trouble. There's really nowhere to go across the top of the mountain if another car hits some trouble a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing about this track, is that the mountain isn't forgiving. You put a car into the wall, especially up the top, and I mean, I was a bit young when I saw it, when they used to run up here, and they had that massive accident up there, and they actually called the race because they couldn't continue because it was that block with that many cars. But yeah, just a bit more patience is really required around here than a lot of the others.
Yeah, definitely. It is a self-control thing across the top of the mountain there. You might want to make up time and feel like the guy ahead's getting away from you or the guy behind's catching you. But at the end of the day, you just gotta exercise self-control and just hold your line and not do anything stupid up there.
I'll just jump in, guys.
You think it's
Sorry, guys. The reason the safety car's out is the 366 was unable to return to the pits, but we've also now got the 334 stranded on pit entry. So anyway, back to your interview.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Bernie. It's always good to have those updates. Yeah, do you think because it's at Bathurst that people are probably trying to think that they've got a little bit more confidence because they know the track, or is it just because it's such a special track they want to try and work at it a little bit harder and feel the because it is an exhilarating track, especially up the top there, pushing the car as hard as you.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. It is, it's the Aussie track, really, isn't it? And everyone, talks about Bathurst, whether either the V8 Supercar race or the 12-hour. It's got such a stunning history, and it is such an exciting place to drive around. So yeah, I think people want to be king of the mountain. That might apply in some situations. But yeah, there's just also on a lot of those sweeping corners up the top there. There's little dips and bumps that can just catch you out if you've got the throttle in the wrong position, especially with a really powerful a rear-wheel drive car like the Daytona prototype. But also, I find any car that doesn't have weight at the rear, personally, I think is a real handful around here. So I think mid-engine and rear-wheel drive, mid-engine and rear-engine drive cars are the pick to have around here, personally. But so that applies for everything but the BMW Z4. I think that's actually probably the hardest car to drive around here in some ways. It's a well balanced car, but it's relatively light in the rear, and so that I think you can get particularly caught out by those bumps, and especially going down when you start doing the downhill sections, where you want a bit more weight in the rear. I think it can be a real handful. So I'm not sure if that's what we've been seeing a lot of the BMWs running into troubles, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, great. It's good insight onto that, and good to get a driver's perspective of that as well. Your plans, obviously, later on. Is this the only car? I think you've got two cars in this one.
No, just the one car. We've entered in an AEC. Yeah, we haven't quite got the driver base to have two. Potentially at I think there's a couple of rounds coming up in the championship where it's a 2-driver round. In that one we could. So we might enter a second car if there's space at one of those 2-driver rounds, the shorter ones. I think there's a 4 or 6 hour one in there somewhere. So we've probably got 4 or 5 regular drivers, so it doesn't quite stretch the 2 cars for the most part.
Yeah, great. And I'll just about run out of questions, Matt. So before we let you go, shout out there, mate. I know you've got a couple there. Big shout outs there. You do a great job, and hopefully you do a little bit better throughout the race and get a few more positions, and we hopefully might see you on the podium.
Yeah, that'd be great. One point to get on the podium. I mean, this is probably one of the tracks where we're more likely to. I think our driving style probably suits these. The conservative driving style suits these sort of tracks. I can't remember whether we go into motorsport or this year, but that's another one where I think it suits out the way we drive our car. So yeah, one day it'll come, I suppose. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, that was Matt Zimmerman, folks, from the 229 entry. Now, while that interview was going on, folks, I was getting more information from Race Control regarding the 188. This is our race leader and Class A leader. They've had 2 warnings issued to the driver for breaching the rules and regulations. Basically, from Race Control, that's for careless overtaking and putting other drivers in compromised positions over the top of the mountain. So this is one thing Race Control said they were going to crack down on, and it looks like they're starting to do that now. So we'll bring up Joe Burkett from the 188 and Josh Rogers to have a chat about how their race is going as we are under the safety car. Hi Joe, welcome to RRTV. How are you going today?
Very good, thanks Brenny. Yourself and Andrew?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well here, and we were just talking about your driver has been issued 2 warnings for unsafe driving. I've actually reached out to Race Control and they've clarified what that was for, and it was for careless overtaking and compromising other drivers across the top of the mountain. So it sounds like you guys have been pushing pretty hard out there.
I haven't seen anything to see what they were talking about, but I don't know if that's what they say, then that's what we'll go with. They're the admin. They've done a pretty good job so far this race. As you say, pace has been pretty hot so far. Everyone's pushing really hard to maximise what they can get out of their cars. So yeah, that would probably be why there's been a few warnings and whatnot so far.
Yeah, well, it's pretty. It gets pretty difficult out there in the HPD when you're coming across a lot of traffic, and I guess you guys know because you're in the car, but you probably only have a split second to pick your line, and then you've got to pretty much hold that line, don't you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. From about Griffin's to the Elbow, it's pretty much just a one-line racetrack. So I mean, with the closing speed that the HPD has over the GT3 cars being really high, it's quite difficult to make your way through the traffic. I mean, there's a couple of spots you can across the top. You can go across Skyline and you can squeeze out the inside of McPhillamy, but apart from that, there's really nowhere else you can pass. And you do lose quite a lot of time, especially when you're trying to battle the position. It can be quite costly.
Yeah, and as far as the race pace goes, I think we're up to our 12th safety car since the start of this race today. Has that really, as we see the safety car run into the wall yet again, has that really affected your strategy, or has it been difficult for you guys to get into a bit of a rhythm as far as the driver's concerned?
Yeah, it does sort of break your rhythm up a bit. I know when I was on the car earlier, you'd go green for a couple of laps and then another safety car, and then you'd go green and another safety car. It just sort of, really limits your ability to sort of really settle in and find out what the car's going to do and all that sort of thing.
And Josh, how have you been finding this race, mate?
Definitely very intense considering, like Joe said, the closing speed over the top of the mountain, and other than that, it's been pretty decent so far. A few other teams have had some unlucky encounters, but hopefully we can bring it home. Sharman's doing a really good job at the moment, and so was Joe. So hopefully we can do something well. It looks like we've got some sort of good form at the moment, good consistency. So yeah, we'll just try and keep that up and keep it consistent. That's the most important thing in a race like this around here, around Bathurst especially.
Yeah, well, you guys are in the right end of the field anyway, being up the front as the safety car's coming in now. They'll come down through Murray's and will be Dylan Sharman will lead the guys away for Team TTL once more. But I guess you'd rather be right up the front here than buried in mid-pack at this point in time.
Yeah, for sure, especially with cautions. If you were about to run out of fuel or whatnot, and you have to pit, you're buried back in the field. And if your main competitors are in front of a few spots, they definitely get away. And I know that has happened to us a couple of times. But yeah, no, the cautions being in the right spot at the right time is very crucial to not losing too much time.
Yeah, it's one thing we saw earlier with the restarts was the leader pretty much was behind the safety car, and then the second and third guys, they could be buried, up to 8 to 10 cars back in the field, which is just the way the cookie crumbles. But before I let you guys go, though, I'm going to pass you over to Adrian and see if he's got any questions for us.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Hey guys, they're doing a great job out there. It's been a tough one for a lot of guys, and obviously being in the lead, not so tough. But the restarts, just keeping everyone in play and getting a few guys caught out there, which is giving you a nice big jump. So you're playing the restarts quite well.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing we've sort of done a bit of work on since Daytona, is just making sure we really time the jump from when the lights go green. And yeah, the sort of traffic's fallen our way a little bit as far as our competitors go.
Yeah, the car's looking nice and clean, so obviously it helps being the leader. You get that advantage, and especially on a restart, you've got probably 4 laps before you catch the GT3 car, so a little bit of nice clean air for the car to get going and get some rhythm in before another safety.
Yeah, that's basically it. Sometimes you could have a caution just end and you don't even catch the GT cars before you get another one, and yeah, that definitely does hurt when you're trying to get a nice, smooth, comfortable rhythm. Yeah, it can make things quite difficult and can be a little bit frustrating sometimes also.
Yeah, because generally with races, you don't want to see safety cars because obviously it doesn't get your rhythm in place. It's good for fuel economy, obviously, for your cars, but it's more the rhythm for you guys, isn't it? And especially around a track like Bathurst, it's not an easy track, as Dylan's up behind a GT3 car, must have just come out of the pits there and slowing you up there. But yeah, it makes it hard, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially considering the speed of these cars across the mountain. Mostly being in a rhythm and being smooth is really important, because one little wrong move and it can be all over pretty quickly. So yeah, that's definitely something that's very important at a track like this, and especially prototype cars.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. But guys, I'm going to get you to put a shout out there to your sponsors and your teammates there, because seeing both of yous up here, old Dylan's there running the team by himself, and we'll get you back down to your teammate and help him out there. But look, once again, appreciate you coming up here. It's good to have the drivers up here and let us know how they're going and how it's going to pan out for you guys. So thanks again, and look. Here's hoping that you'll get on the top podium step. The way the car's going, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, definitely. Fingers crossed we can bring it home and come back for another chat later on today.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
While we're having that interview, you probably saw the replay out there, folks, and that was Zachary Hanlon coming together with a HPD in the Caltex chase. He did bring that car straight into the pits for repairs after that incident, and he's back out there and circulating. So at the moment, for for the guys that have just joined us for this 1 hour update. There's only 4 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Class A is being led by Dylan Sharman, followed by Riley Preston in the 126 Evolution Racing Australia, 3.4 seconds down. And while I say that, Adrian, we are up to our 13th safety car for today. So we've only been back racing for 5 minutes, if that, and a safety car's been called once again.
Yeah, it's very hard to get this rhythm going in it. Another safety car. It looks like the safety car might be in a chance for its own podium finish here, or might do as many laps as everyone else at the moment. Yeah,
well, at this stage, I think the safety car could be lapping people, but we're just having a look at a replay here. This is All-Star Motorsports, and that car has had a suspension failure coming into Caltech's chase, and this could be why we got a safety car. Very unusual. He was going slowly down the Conrod Straight, but just as he got to the chase, something's broken, and that's sent him around.
Well, we've got Brent Tucker there from All Star Motorsports. Bernie, he might be able to allude to a little bit more for us.
Yeah, and also the 397 is also crabbing very badly. I have a feeling these two cars may have come together, but we'll ask Brent Tucker. Brent, we've noticed your car with Ryan in it is in the pits. Can you tell us what's going on?
Hey Bernie, hey Andrew. We had to come in together with 166 HPD. I'm not sure what happened. He just went to swipe across the rear to go around and try and make a move. Caught our rear and just belted us around. Unfortunately, that's used our last fast repair there, so we managed to get nearly 7 hours in, well, nearly over 6 hours in with only one fast repair. But yeah, in the past hour we've had to use both of them, unfortunately. It's frustrating that stuff like that happens, but nothing you can do. That's racing, and we've just got to be extremely careful now.
Yeah, it definitely is racing, but I think you guys might have been pretty lucky in a way as well, because as you had to come in for that fast repair, the yellow was called. We thought it was because of your car, or the 397, but it was actually called because of the 332 broke down out there on the circuit.
Yeah, no, we were incredibly lucky that we were in pit lane when that happened, so we'll be able to get a fresh car and join back onto the back of the train. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. There's been a few silly moves going on. We've been punted a couple times by numerous teams. It's frustrating, but what can you do? Heat of the moment, it happens. So we just gotta take it with a grain of salt and move on, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of teams out there today are running this race not as if it's a 12-hour, let's put it that way, taking a few risks out there, and the pace has been slow because of 13 safety cars, but I think the driving has been fairly aggressive at times out there.
Yeah, some of the we've had instances where we've been taken out by GT3 cars that are 50 odd laps down trying to make a move on us when we're 8 laps down on the leader overall. They went 3 wide and tried to go around the outside of another GT3 car and made no attempt to actually move away from us. It's silly things like that that just frustrate you as a driver and as a team manager when you and your drivers have put in a good 2 weeks worth of putting your brains together, trying to get a good setup for both cars, for all drivers, where everyone feels confident. And to have one car being punted around from pillar to post and another one that's unfortunately by the looks of it had to withdraw. It's kind of a bit demoralising, but we'll move on. We've got a month's break after Bathurst. We'll recuperate and come back stronger for Sebring.
Yeah, well, Bathurst is known to break a lot of people's pride or hearts around here, and it's no different today. But that was a 217, wasn't it, that Cody Bird was driving? Is that the car you're talking about that's retired?
Yeah, unfortunately, by the looks of it, Cody's parked that car. They've been involved in a few incidents. Some of them were their own doing, some of them were just others' stupidity, not slowing down for yellow flags, stuff like that. So, it's especially frustrating when drivers don't slow down for yellow flags and just drive full pelt straight into your car and cause a bigger pile up than what was necessarily needed apart from a one car. But, as I said, move on and take a month's break. We all need it, and come back bigger and better for Sebring.
Yeah, and we've just got some news from Adrian about why the 217 may have retired. So I'll hand you over to Adrian so you guys can have a bit of a chat about that.
Come on, Adrian, fill me with the bad news.
Yeah, I've actually went back a little bit further. I did let Bernie know that the 332 hit the 217, but unfortunately Cody had lost it getting up into McPhillamy and absolutely destroyed his car in the process, hit the concrete barrier pretty hard and took it completely out. So unfortunately, mate, he's destroyed that.
Yeah, I know he'd done that a fair while back. He'd only been out on track for probably 5 or 10 minutes. There were nearly half an hour repairs in total for that car after that incident at the top of the mountain. It was just weird. It seemed as though the car just lost all grip and around he went, nothing he could do. Which is frustrating for 217 because Scott, Cody and Dylan, they were all looking the goods. They were all pretty pacey, but things just haven't gone our way the past couple of rounds. That's racing. I don't know. If I had $1 for every time I said it in this interview, I think I'd be a millionaire. But move on and just concentrate on Sebring and just taking a bit of time off from iRacing for a bit.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. We've just had a look at... sorry, guys. I'll just add to that. We just had a look at the replay, and it did happen at McPhillamy, Adrian, as you said, but it's also the reason why the 397 was heavily damaged as well, because that was involved in that incident as well. Back to you guys.
Yeah, there are a couple. I know that I apologise greatly for the G&T racing, and I can't remember the other HPD that was involved in it, but yeah, I apologise to those guys. They just had nowhere to go. I really, personally, I don't believe that prototypes really belong at Bathurst. This is an argument for a whole nother time, but it's just too tight, and that's a discussion for the drivers and managers and admins to have. But yeah, that's how I feel that this form of prototype racing isn't really suited to Bathurst with the lack of runoff and how tight it is. Just from what I've experienced today, so we'll see what happens. But 218's main aim is to finish under the incident limit this round.
Yeah, well, might have a couple of spare drivers there to help spot. That'd be something handy for you guys. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, Bathurst, it's a problem, and unfortunately, where he ended up stopping, it was on the racing line. So not much he could have done about that. It's just a really unfortunate event there, and yeah, it's one of those things when the car gets damaged, it does seem to start doing some silly things.
Yeah, that's it. The fast repairs are meant to give you a fresh new car, but in some instances I'm not sure why they don't really, give you an entirely new car. It's still, occasionally the steering's still pulling left or right, or it just doesn't feel right aerodynamically, but nothing we can do about that on our end. That's an iRacing issue. But yeah, not the way I wanted to come up here after last year's awesome result in the GT3 where we got 4th in class. But it's Bathurst, and she's got to bite hard, and when she does, it's a sour taste, unfortunately.
Yeah, mate, that's a bit of hard luck there for that car and that team for you. But before we let you go, mate, you want to shout out to your sponsors there and your...
Yeah, first of all, a huge thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast again. Awesome effort. Thanks to RackCorp, Unlimited Servers, K-Centric, David from those companies. He's been a very influential member in getting us the sponsorship package we have now. I'm really grateful for it. To Dill and Shepard from My Performance for jumping into 217 today, and all my drivers and spotters. Without them, there would be no team. So that's what we really got to remember.
Fantastic, Brent. Well, chin up, mate. I know how much you put into this racing, both on and off the track, and it's been a bad day for you guys, but you've still got the 2-1 out there, so focus on that. Get that car home and go back and get ready for the next race.
Yeah, well, still just 5 or 5 hours to go, so plenty of time for us to still make up some positions, but at the moment we're just trying to keep it clean, keep her off the walls and out of traffic, which is proving to be difficult when there's cars spinning left, right and centre. So anyway, it looks like it's heating back up, so I've got to duck back to the garage.
Alright, mate, well, thanks for popping in.
Alrighty, catches.
Yeah, you can tell by the tone of his voice, can't you, that he's pretty gutted by the 217 retirement and their race so far, but it just goes to show how much these guys put into their racing. They do take it very seriously, and it does hurt a bit, doesn't it, Adrian, when things aren't going the way you plan them to? Looks like we may have lost my co-host. He's speechless for once in his life. But yeah, we had a look at that replay, folks. It was a pretty nasty accident up there, and in all fairness, Cody couldn't really do much about that. He was stranded up there, and it's a blind crest, so these things happen. And guess what? We are on to our 14th safety car. So that lasted about not even a lap, I don't think we got in there. So I'm not sure what's caused this one.
Yeah, sorry Bernie, pressing the wrong button again. Unfortunately, you have had to change buttons to get to talk on here, and I keep pressing the wrong one. We've had a problem with Frida and the Shelby car coming up the mountain. I'm not sure if that's part of it. Someone may have got stuck, but poor old Frida's got turned around somehow, coming up the mountain towards the cutting, and it's taken out another car as well. So it's all mayhem here at the moment, Bernie. Maybe it's up a bit further, but I'm not 100% certain.
I bet you that driver's having an absolute cow at the moment. As we have a look at the replay, we'll just see exactly what happened to Frida here.
That was utter horrible.
Oh boy, yeah, Frida was turned around big time. Oh man, that's nasty. But yeah, that was coming up towards a cutting. That car was turned into the wall, and behind them, down a bit further, we saw the 314 Selby also being turned around. So for both cars, these guys were up in the top placings, and both of them have been hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it was a big one, wasn't it? We've seen plenty of action today, and this is no different. And this safety car stuff is sort of a little bit hard to take at the moment. There's so many. There's no racing at the moment, other than guys racing to the pit bay to get their car.
Yeah, it is a bit hard to take, isn't it? But fortunately, we're just about up on our 1 hour update, so we can be spared a lot of the frustration, I guess. But you know, seeing some of these top-end GT3s being treated the way they're being treated, it's not very nice, that's for sure. And I think Frida was rear-ended by a DP. So the guys, I think, just need to take a breath out there and start thinking about the big picture. 5 hours to go here, folks. If this race continues the way it's going, we're not going to have anyone left in 5 hours' time.
Yeah, I think the only car that will be on there will be the safety car, and probably the 118 car, the way that it is at the moment, being out the front. It doesn't have to worry about battling anyone, because it's not even catching up to anyone to battle with. So I think they're having a clear run at them.
Yeah, well, you know, while you're sitting up front here, I guess, you know, with the safety cars coming out all the time, you know that all the field is getting beaten up each time one comes out. So if you can keep that car clean, if you've got the fast repairs up, you're definitely in for a big shot to taking this race out in just under 5 hours time. But I think the safety car so far is probably a lap ahead of our leader. That's how many times it's come out today.
Yeah, it's you know, look, we know accidents happen and it's going to happen, and Bathurst is probably one of the worst ones. I think we called it. I think we basically called it from day dot, didn't we, Bernie? So you know, but I didn't think it'd be on the levels that we've seen it. I thought we might have had a 1 or 2 in the first bit, and the guys would have settled down into a nice rhythm and got a bit of racing done as well. But it looks like the guys aren't getting into rhythm and they're just struggling out there, maybe trying to push the car too hard, like I alluded to earlier, probably trying to push because it's Bathurst. Who knows? It's just one of those things at the moment.
Yeah, and we said it earlier that, you know, safety cars breed safety cars, and each time we get one of these safety cars, the field is pretty much shuffled with all the classes mingled in, and that can be a recipe for disaster if we get these bottlenecks coming up the mountain, because there's nowhere to really go. The walls are right on the edge of that track, and if a car goes in, you're generally going to see about 6 or 8 cars following it, like a concertina type effect. But the safety car lights are out at the moment, folks. What we'll do before they go back racing is let's give you an update of the top 3 in each class, just so you can have a picture of where they're at. At the moment, the 188 is leading the way. They've completed 179 laps of this race, and yeah, they've been consistent for the last hour out front, if not longer. In second spot is the 126 Evolution Racing Australia entry with Riley Preston. Evolution Racing Australia are looking pretty strong in this class at the moment. In third place, Carnet TDR. It's great to see these guys up there, and they're in third, and we have the top 3 right behind each other behind the safety car, so there's no one impeded there. Looking further down into Class B, Class B is being led by Synergy Sim Racing. The number 3 team, the 230, Robbie Tomei is driving that car at the moment. And in second place is the 226 Evolution Racing Australia. So they're 9th outright and second in class. Third in class is the 222 of SDC Motorsport Enduro. So they've actually just passed the 228 of the other ERA car. So all these guys are actually lined up behind each other as well at the moment, which bodes well for a good restart, hopefully. Looking down in Class C, now I've just got to make sure I've got them here. It looks like the 397, although it's had a few dramas, is still leading this race. That's ANZ Motorsports with Christian Aylward behind the wheel of that car. And then even though Frida has been repaired with a fast repair, it's still running in second position. I think it was running first when that incident happened. I'm just being updated here. The 351's leading Class C, sorry folks. Oceanic Sim Racing, Marty Atkins behind the wheel, followed by the 397 and then the 333. The 314, which we can see in the pits at the moment, that was classified in 4th in class, and we saw that car was turned around just before Frida, and just as they were coming off Mountain Straight. So that's an update on where we're at, Adrian.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bernie. Yeah, it's Jesus, it's just a weird race, isn't it? We get them now and again, but once again, I'm a little bit bamboozled. I didn't think we'd have this sort of carnage on this track, and it's starting to show. It's sort of reminiscent of Daytona 12 months ago. That's where I'm putting it at that sort of.
It definitely feels like that, doesn't it? It's got that sort of rhythm, that stop-start, a constant grind that's going on here that we saw in that Daytona a year or so ago. Yeah,
it certainly does, and you know, Yes, I'm going to say the track has got a part to do with it. Obviously, it is a tough track. It's one that's not forgiving. If someone gets it wrong, they're going to pay for it, that's for sure. But the problem, obviously, with that as well, because it's not so forgiving, if anyone's around you at that time when you have got it wrong, you're going to take a few others with you. And I think that's the biggest problem with this track at the moment, Bernie, is that there's been a lot of guys that have been around at the wrong time and getting involved in it as well, and that's why we're getting so many safety cars.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And you can just hear the tone of Brent's voice earlier from All Star Motorsports. It's not only the commentators that find it a bit grindy, but the teams are also finding it a bit hard to take at times. As these cars are taking on damage. But anyway, folks, we are under green yet again, as we just saw the which car was that? The 126, second in class, just clipping the wall, coming up through the cutting, or not the cutting, up through wherever that was, coming up over the mountain. So there you go. But anyway, folks, while we're under green, we're actually going to go back off air. This was just a 1 hour mid-race update. We'll actually be back tonight from 6 o'clock after we've had our dinner to commentate the rest of the race till the end. So we'll be on till probably about 9:30 tonight, GMT plus 11. So for the viewers out there, if you come back, overseas viewers, to make it easier for you, come back in an hour and 45 and we'll be back on air after we've had our tea. But on behalf of Adrian Jarvis, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning in to RRTV, and we look forward to seeing you back here for the final 3 hours of the Bathurst 24 hour at 6 o'clock tonight, GMT plus 11.